Okay, so welcome back. I'm Jacob Harvest, and we're playing Tangle Tower. So, let's start the beginning. Here we are.
It's a bird bath.
Oh, it sure it
Is
is.
that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune. Toot, 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 toot.
Please don't do that. I tied the boat up to the mooring post, so it'll stay put. For now. Probably.
Loving the confidence. It's the little boat we used to cross the lake. It's the only way on or off the island.
What a comforting thought.
The ground's moist, but it's not muddy. Wonder how often it rains here.
I cannot believe how exciting this murder investigation is already. Wind chimes. Silent, wooden wind chimes.
You ready, Sally?
Grimoire, I've been standing here for 7.5 minutes.
Just checking.
Do you have the map?
Yeah, but it's basically blank. Did you read the case file? What do you think?
I'm not sure yet. It's really not a lot to go on. Did you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it on the way to the crime scene.
Okay. So, murder victim Freya Fellow, 19, died while painting a portrait of Floras Fellow, 58. Location: Floras Tower. Flora was present as she was posing for a portrait. Freya Fellow was found lying on her back with a single stab wound in her chest. No weapon was found at the crime scene, but the subject of Freya's unfinished painting is holding a knife. The red color on the tip of the knife is not paint. It was discovered to be blood. Tangle Tower. A small painting on a scrap of paper. A few notes have been written on the back. Nowadays it goes by Tangle Tower, but actually a pair of towers connected by a mansion at the base. It's surrounded by a circular lake. The water is unusual mix of colors. The lake is enclosed by sheer pale cliffs. They're too steep and smooth to climb. Tangle Tower is currently home to both the Fellow family and the Pointer family. I can look... Oh yeah, it's definitely a painting. Okay, that's the... Can I look at this? There's the painting she was doing. This is, I guess, the outline of her. This is the girl she was painting? Is it? Or no, that's the girl who was killed. This is Freya. And whatever this... Oh, it's a knife. I was gonna say, what the... is that? And this is the map. Oh, look how cute and tiny we are. The gardens. Wow, this game already is really pretty.
It's a
Bit
band.
small for a bandstand.
It's a one-man bandstand.
It's a stone
egg.
carving. Wonder how it got cracked.
I think it's supposed to look like that. It's an egg.
What animal
Homemade
is
bird.
that?
Hawk. Bear. Lizard.
Right, of course. A hawk bear lizard. It's a statue of some hideous, scaly, bipedal fish monster
Playing a harp.
playing a harp. Hang on a second.
Look closer.
This isn't just a regular statue, is
It's
it?
got a puzzle on it.
Something tells me we're not gonna solve this just yet.
Okay. So there's funny symbols, a bell. Piano.
Let's come back later.
when we
must
have
do
some information.
something.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
So I marked that down, did I? Heart statue. An old weathered statue of an amphibious creature holding a large heart. Symbols are carved on each of the harp's 4 column segments. Yes. Little arrow. No. No, it says.
Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's to scare away detectives.
Is it working?
No.
Her hair looks like a piece
It's
of
full of
candy.
the same weird water that was in the lake.
Any fish in there?
Not a single one. Although there is something in there.
It's a cassette tape. Or it used to be.
A cassette tape that has been damaged by water. The ink on the label is blurred and unlegible. Yeah. Okay. Next. Main entrance. Tangle Tower without the O's. Oops, sorry.
Oh, there's an O on the floor.
Oh yeah. Tangle Tour.
Twir. Oh,
Can I pick up the O?
oh, there's
Oh yeah. Tangle.
Twir.
Oh, I can't pick it up. What's this say?
There's a heart engraved in the tree. I didn't know people actually did that.
PPFF.
Oh. Could it be a Freya flower and somebody pointer?
Should we ring the doorbell?
Why would we not? It's a little melody. Do you think he'll start to move if we try to go inside?
No. I think he'll just silently judge us.
Don't think it's locked.
Oh, that means we can just walk straight in, right?
I'm pretty sure that's the rule, yeah. Is that an
Oh,
envelope?
there's an envelope.
It's been opened, but the letter's still in there. Let's read it.
Isn't that an invasion of someone's privacy?
No, definitely.
Let's do it anyway. The envelope has been ripped open. There is a single piece of paper inside. The combination is drawn on the other sheet. Once you have it memorized, destroy it. I do not agree with your reasons, but I will not find it down there. And this is what that says? These little symbols? Oh. Okay. Oh, I can go in,
Let's
but
head
what's
to the
this over
crime
here?
scene first. It's at the top of the West Tower, I think.
No, she says no. She says, I don't think so. Wow, look at this.
It's a big glass tube filled with water.
There are weeds in there. And sand.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except there's nothing living in it. Anymore.
Okay, so
A
this
big letter F.
is for the flowers, and this is for the pointers.
Who doesn't hang a giant banner of their initial in the lobby of their mansion?
Yeah.
What is that?
I think this is the
I
lineage.
think it's a family tree.
Yeah, okay, so this is everyone. What does it say? Oh, Ford Fellow. They wrote it weird, so my brain couldn't. Lady Fellow. Lord Fellow. Selena Stonetop. So he married Selena Stonetop, and they had Felicia. And she married Damon and had Freya. So this is Freya's parents, Felicia and Damon. And Lady Fellow had... Oh, wait. This would imply that they had 2 separate partners which they had kids with, wouldn't it? Flint Fellow, Felix Fellow, Emily Evers. Brits Fellow? So they're half siblings, I guess. Lord Remington, Lady Remington, Flora, Remington, Primrose, Richard, Fiona Fellow, Winter, Percival, Buck, Pandora, Penelope, Poppy. Okay. Penelope, Poppy. Grandma.
A door.
Oh, what's behind it?
A room. Stairs.
Ah.
Stairs.
Finally,
So glad
we
you
get
let
to
me know.
investigate a murder in a spooky mansion.
It's not that spooky, really.
Don't ruin this.
It's really bright and colorful.
Finally, we get
It's
to.
not that spooky.
Don't ruin this.
I don't get to look at those paintings, I guess. Okay. We're... Oh. Okay, so this is the pointer side. Did they, like, both live in this mansion, but they live on the separate sides? Or it seems so. Okay, I guess we're going straight to the top. Floras Tower.
The outline of Freya Fellow. Looks like she fell onto her back. There's a single patch of blood, right in the middle. No real signs of a struggle.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the canvas,
So?
so she was probably standing really close to the canvas when she fell.
Let's check the case file again.
How did she get stabbed from the front if she was facing the canvas?
Let's take a look at that painting first. There it is. The unfinished portrait of Flora Fellow.
So, what? Freya was killed halfway through painting it?
Looks that way.
Freya was unable to finish the painting. She died sometime during the process. Flora appears to be wielding a knife. The red substance on the tip was discovered to be blood. Why did she paint her holding a knife?
I wonder if all of Freya's paintings are this creepy. Maybe it's just because she never got to finish it.
There's something wrong with the crime scene. And something really weird about the murder weapon.
We didn't find a murder weapon.
Exactly. Something very strange about how Freya was killed. What am I doing? It's slightly covered. It was used to kill. Holy knife tipped with blood, but it was removed from the scene, but Freya stole it because it stabbed Freya.
Flora's portrait is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya.
What?
Weird, huh?
You think Freya was stabbed by a painting? Not by the woman
not?
from the painting, but by the painting itself.
Mm-hmm. Freya was standing right up by the canvas when she was killed. There's blood on the knife. It's the murder weapon.
Right, but it's not actually a knife. It can't stab.
See any other knives around here? Case closed.
The case is not closed. And even if you were right, where does that leave us? A painting can't be a murder suspect.
An unfinished painting. Oh. I got an achievement for that, I guess. Can I talk to Flora? Oh, hello.
Flora Fellow?
Oh.
Hey, sorry to barge in. I'm sure you're still in some distress.
We need to ask you a few questions, I'm afraid.
Did you witness the murder, Flora?
Nothing. What do we do?
Not sure. She's entitled to her silence, I suppose.
For now.
Yourself?
Is there anything you'd like to tell us, Flora?
No.
I don't really know anything about you at all.
I think that's the way she likes it. We'll just have to ask other people about her.
Yeah, okay.
Freya was
Yesterday?
painting your portrait yesterday. Is that right?
Was this something you had planned with her ahead of time?
Was there something special about yesterday?
Did you talk to Freya at all while she was painting you?
She's not going to answer us, is she?
Nope. But at least we can say we tried.
Okay. I want to look
Is
at this
that
egg.
An egg? An egg with bird feet.
It's also covered in gemstones. What a completely ordinary object.
I think it's a container for something.
Those gems look like they come off.
All positions of the gemstones rotate the egg to see a clue on the back. Okay, clue me. Oh. Why is it pointing
Nope.
at us?
Did
Nope.
you check the clue on the back of the egg? I'm pretty sure it explains where to put each of the gemstones.
Okay. So. Jeez. There's a line that goes up, kind of like square, and then goes. Which is this one. So, that one is red, blue. Nice, let's go for this one that's just a corner with, it has purple at the top and blue at the bottom. This would be the top, purple top, blue at the bottom. Okay, then there's a thin one, it's a straight line with one turn. Thin, straight line. This one, is it? And it has the two pink. Okay, let's do the little curvy one. Is yellow and purple. Did I put them on the right side? No, I did not. And then this little turn has green and red. So. But this.
No, that was it.
Nice work.
Oh, did I do it?
Did it unlock? What's in there?
I was expecting something to indicate more that I had done it.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, I'm not leaving without a clue. An empty egg is a clue, right?
Once unlocked, the egg can be opened. It is currently empty. The lining of the egg is a soft velvet-like material. The egg is supported by stands made of brass. It rests on 3 strange feet with pointed claws. Oh, a little heart. So there was something within the egg.
Is that a gramophone?
I think so. Except it's got a tape deck instead of a turntable.
It's also got a big crack down the middle.
That makes no sense. It plays cassette tapes instead of vinyl records. It's pointed towards the middle of the room. There is a noticeable crack running through it all the way from the horn down to the tape deck. Suspicious. Did someone take the tape out, break it, and
What
throw
about
it
the
in
cassette
the
tape?
pond?
Yeah, it sure is. Pink.
Oh. Cassette tape has a crack down the middle. There is a handwritten message on it. To Freya. Can I turn it over? No?
Do you think it still works?
The gramophone? Yeah, we could give it a go.
I play it.
It's piano music.
It's recording of piano music. It plays for a short while before stopping. Birds. Dog. Someone humming.
Weird.
It's someone humming a tune.
Recording of someone walking outdoors. A distorted humming melody can be heard. Okay, so the gramophone can still be used to...
Supposedly, Freya was working on the painting when she was killed. Looks like she was still holding her paintbrush and palette when she fell.
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
Okay. The palette is a area of paints loaded into it. The largest blob of black in the middle. The paintbrush is still covered in red dried paint. I see.
Freya's painting
Her paint
supplies.
supply. The small glass spots of red, yellow, black, blue, and white paint. The glass spots are cracked down one side. All the pots are cracked down the same side.
Freya's painting supplies.
Oh. Didn't matter which side I clicked on, it still showed me the balls. Okay.
A little
It's a
pot
plant.
plant, balanced on the window ledge.
It's the only plant in the entire room.
There it is, the unfinished portrait of Flora.
So, what?
Looks that way.
Can I do that puzzle thing again, or? No.
The outline of... There's a single patch of blood. Right. No real...
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the camp, so she was
Let's
probably...
check the case file again.
Okay. Workshop. Oh, there's a sad man in here. Hey.
Sir? Can you hear me? I'm Private Detective Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And,
Felix.
this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr. Fellow, we really need to ask you about the murder.
Well, I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
The voice
Oh, yeah?
acting's good.
Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking, you know, that sort of thing.
Sir? Can you hear?
Grimoire. Good Mercedes Fellow.
So, Felix,
Yourself.
what exactly do you, do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer slash treasure hunter. Yes, well, best in the world.
We're talking like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen my share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here. I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the Fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is...
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
Don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help, but I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
Well, there's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Your room is quite close to Floras Tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
It was
Statement.
dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain, as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right, fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below.
Poppy.
Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me.
And whatever this is locked. So he said Poppy went downstairs and then she was in the room after he went in.
A little hand-painted
So-
statue.
How can you tell it's hand-painted?
Oh, he's sleeping.
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
Same type of bottles. A wooden carving of a man holding a sword. The model has been hand-painted, but the paint is not skillfully applied. Yellow, blue, black, white, and paints were all found nearby.
Nice.
A box
real
with a
treasure
lock
chest.
on
You
it.
know there's treasure in there.
Why else would it be locked? Plus, there's a treasure map hanging directly above it. What's the deal with that painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map too.
So it's like Nessie Island Rock. Um, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Map. Use the treasure map to discover a combination. Okay.
That was
The
an...
padlock has 3, just a grid reference for the map.
Let's take a break.
Yeah, I don't know.
Puffer?
Yes, it's also a lamp, for some reason. A hammock. It's
I would politely describe it as lived in. What is it?
He's an imp.
What does he do?
Well, if you tell too many lies, he appears at the end of your bed in the middle of the night.
Oh. It's a barometer, but it's broken.
I've never seen a barometer that wasn't broken. The entire room is made of wood.
Oh, it's not just made of wood. I think it's the actual hull of a ship.
It's a magic lamp. Can we summon the genie?
If we get really stuck, sure. That's a massive conch shell. Do you think there's a little crab living inside?
I hope so.
An old wooden mask.
Probably cursed.
A pencil drawing of a mountain on a moonlit night.
Mood.
Okay.
A map with a dotted
That's a
line.
very boring way to describe a treasure map. It's a drinking horn.
Is it full of ale? Or mead?
Right now, it's just full of dust.
Oh. It's Earth.
If Earth was made of paper and gave off a gentle pink light.
Okay. So that's Felix's workshop. Fitz is apparently across the hall from there, but it's not unlocked yet. This is Freya's room. Oh.
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
A small photograph of Freya's abstract painting. A piece of the adhesive sheet is still stuck on it. Lines have must have been drawn with black ink around the edges. There's things pointing. Oop.
That painting.
Why would
Maybe
you
Freya...
the
Hang on,
atmosphere?
there's a
It's
small...
a
Yeah.
photograph.
I didn't mean to do that.
Freya's bear.
Looks pretty depressed.
He's had a rough couple of days.
It's a
Fish?
I think.
I think it looks more like a whale.
Fine, it's a whale.
Could also be a shark.
A pillow with a paw print pattern.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate. It's a little glass box.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
Vivarium.
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
Okay.
Drawings taped up on the wall.
What's that one on the left?
Looks like two people standing together in a garden. One of them's holding a red rose.
Oh, that's Poppy. And, I don't know who this is. Hawkshaw. A drawing of a man standing with a woman in a garden. He's holding a red rose. A drawing of a young woman. A drawing of a person wearing a cloak.
Brushes, pencils.
They're clean, but they look pretty well used.
Even
paint
though
on the
we're
floor.
halfway up a tower, someone's been tracking in mud from outside.
Painting supplies. Painting supplies.
Just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone.
That's weird.
What did you find in the drawers?
Nothing. They're completely empty. It's Freya's bed. A little bit messy.
It's a perfectly healthy amount of messy.
It's Freya's bed. A little bit messy.
It's a perfectly healthy amount of messy.
What's this
It's a
little
little
box?
wooden box for paintbrushes.
To the casual observer, maybe. They're not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of lock mechanism.
Swap the brushes to correct or arrange the paper to find a clue. Okay. Arrange the paper. Ooh, I've done it. Okay. So question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark green, question mark blue. Does that mean there's a green here and a blue here? The third one is... There's my phone. One of these. And the
That wasn't.
Each brush has various... The information we need is on the paper.
The first one is orange. And the second one is pink.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each...
So second green. Third is blue. But this needs to be... This needs to be green. This needs to be blue. So, first one has to have an orange handle. Second one has to be green. Third one has to be this, but it has to be pink. Fourth one has to be blue. This one has to be slanted. Oh, is this
Still
right?
locked.
So,
No.
there's a couple of brushes with each characteristic.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each...
So this is definitely in the right spot because it's pink. But this blue one, these could be
Still
swapped.
locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each...
This could be... This could be the blue. Either one of these could be here.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
Blue. The fourth one is blue.
I did it. What do I win?
Not
Okay.
bad. What
What's
was in the
inside of
box?
it?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
Looks like a picture of Freya. Then some girl. The photograph of two young girls, one with red hair and one with green hair. The photo is a large piece of missing. It seems to have ripped off. There was another girl who was in the photo. Okay. Let's go to whoever this is. Oh, here's the redhead girl.
Curious. I would expect bacteria of that nature to thrive in these conditions.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you, miss?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective, and I need to talk.
Correction. You do not need to talk to me,
Oh no? How come?
because I am not a suspect. I am completely innocent of any and all crimes.
Thanks for letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangle Tower for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis about the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Freya Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator.
Fifi.
You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of...
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on the surrounding light conditions.
Does it glow red when you get angry?
No, but that would be most amusing. What can you tell me
Yesterday.
about the murder?
What can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes, however, you were too slow.
You fancy yourself a detective too, Fifi?
I just need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
It is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
I was in
Statement.
my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face. She insisted that we go up to Floras Tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I
Okay.
was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
Fifi's bedroom should be unlocked now.
Can't wait.
Is that
Snow globe?
a snow globe?
Of sorts.
That's the tower.
Hey, look at that. It's a model of Tangle Tower. There's the lake and those weird mountains. What are you thinking?
That would make an amazing souvenir. What's in those bottles?
I'm not sure. Soil samples? It's an illustrated book about birds.
It's been left open. Looks like somebody was halfway through reading it.
Or it was left open for us to find.
Ever so slightly unnerving?
Bird book. The ink dip is a remarkably intelligent bird with a very long lifespan, even among Misted. Other birds are often aggressive towards it, and the ink dip lives most of its life alone. Its particularly feeding habits and unusually only eats the seeds of Tantum emitter. Okay.
Books about birds.
The shelves are about half empty.
Oh, so you're a the shelves are half empty kind of person.
You knew this already.
Books about nature?
Books about space.
They're relatively untouched. Books about insects.
Well, theoretically. There's not a single book on that shelf.
Huh.
Books about geography.
Skip. Books about ancient history?
These books are ancient history. I think they'd crumble into dust if I tried to pick them up.
Good excuse.
Thanks.
Okay. Let's This is her room, is it? Yeah, Vivi's room.
I don't know what that drink is, but I bet it's 99% sugar.
I'd read you the ingredients, but there's nothing written on the can.
That's even worse.
And it's a magnifying glass. A big one.
How come you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective? Should I start smoking a pipe too?
You couldn't pull off a pipe.
It looks like a
Some gear
microscope.
thing.
A big one.
Can I touch it? I'm not sure.
Nothing.
You want to close up all. Start by finding, or vice versa.
I know. Stop telling me.
Nothing.
You want to start or vice versa.
It is closed.
That's the one.
Hey, not bad.
Oh, I just had to move it slightly.
Sounds like it unlocked.
Yeah. It's built on top of a little metal box. There's a book in here.
Okay. A well-used book resembling a diary is locked with a strange metal device. Sure is. So...
A new suspect! Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise.
Save it for the judge.
Okay.
Fifi's got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
It looks like everyone with lines going across them. Poppy and this guy and this guy. Laura and Felix are married, aren't they? And this is Poppy's dad and mom, isn't it? I don't know who that is. Or who this is. Or this guy either. So.
Did you notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself. Crystal chandeliers. Extra fancy.
I don't know. They just seem old-fashioned to me. Plus, they're kind of dusty. Boxes of stuff.
We already solved it.
Yeah, not what I wanted to click on. Click on
A
the
pretty
paper.
ornate window with a great view of the lake.
We're supposed to be looking for clues, not assessing the real estate value.
And over here, you'll see the owners use sheets of paper to block out all that unnecessary natural light. A simple trick, but it really transforms the space.
Okay, so this is Dit. This is the library, is it? Oh no, this is outside. Who are you?
Whoa, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you...
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so? As it happens,
Yesterday.
I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers is one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance. but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite. Towards the
Statement.
early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
Oh.
He emerged
Maybe
from
he
the
was
Pointer
in the
staircase,
library.
crossed the hall, and begun up the Fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the Fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear, but sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say.
Okay, so that guy's the gardener.
There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off.
There's a dragon without a
It's
head.
a sea serpent, turned into stone by a wizard.
If you say so. What happened to its head?
Beheaded. By the same wizard.
Did you ever see a mushroom that big before?
Not in real life.
It's Tangle Tower. Or at least it's the mansion at the base of Tangle Tower.
Aye.
Okay.
Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
I'm guessing it doesn't tell the time.
No.
So what does it do?
Woo, woo, woo. This one moves these 3. Is there a purpose? Four hands are in the correct position. I don't know
Just
the
gonna
right
rest my brain.
position is, so. This must be the green hat. Green hat. Yep. There's
That's a
bug.
handsome beetle. Looks like he might have magic powers. All the flowers here are kind of
Flowers.
poisonous.
Can flowers be poisonous?
Anything can be poisonous.
Good to know. Is that fruit? It's shaped like fruit.
Too shiny to be fruit. I think it's glowing a little too.
Safe to eat, do you think?
I'm gonna say no.
This one's in a little pot.
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone, don't you think?
A potted fruit with a hard gemstone lies in the soil. The pot is unusually colored blue. Oh, the gardener is in here.
Sally, don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him. He's a little too big to hide in the bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry.
Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fellow, the gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
Genetics.
You work
Yourself.
here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of interest.
What's the deal with the plants? They're all kinda weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like, condense it as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA, sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener. I was in my greenhouse,
Yesterday.
watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
I was up
Are
in
you-
the
your
rooftop
statement.
garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Floras Tower, so we went up there.
We?
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
Okay, so that a boat
Fitz's room is
collides with.
unlocked. It's up in the Fellow Tower.
This could be interesting.
Okay. The boat pretty much matches up
A
with the
little
statement
chart
of.
actually,
everyone
I have
else
no
so
idea what it's
far.
about. Kinda reminds me of a periodic table.
Okay, SX. Roll.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
Okay. Let's go up to Fitz's room. Whoa. Fitz's room looks great.
It's a little handmade card. Someone's drawn a heart on the front. Inside it says, "To Fitz, from PP." Doesn't look soft. An empty glass and an empty plate.
Looking at it is making me want to cry.
Why?
I don't know. That poor plant.
Looks pretty healthy to me.
Healthy, but sad. I think it would rather be outside. Hello.
Not hidden very well, is it?
Doesn't need to be. It's locked. It's a combination
Oh
lock.
no.
Sort of.
Rearrange the pieces to find the combination. So, it's not that. Can I? It's like a round. I think it's that one. Which means.
There we go.
Perfect.
Oh, I guessed it.
Anything in there?
Yeah, it's wrapped in a cloth. Hold on. Huh. That's kind of ominous.
An ornate trowel. A metal garden trowel with decorative pattern has PPFF on it.
It's locked, but it leads outside.
I thought we were halfway up a tower.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
Grab.
Nothing.
The tiles have all got that same sun symbol on them.
Those moon symbols in the slots. Are they connected?
Maybe they're connected, but also not connected.
Okay.
Nope.
Maybe the
So
information
where is it?
somewhere else.
Hmm.
Let's come back once we know what.
I go to the pointer side, I guess. Music room. Oh, there's Poppy.
Are you a ghost?
Sally! That's rude!
Unless she is a ghost.
It may come as a disappointment, but I am alive.
Ah,
That makes you a suspect, I'm afraid.
I know.
what's your name?
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
We'll need to ask you a few questions about Freya.
So she's probably the one who's playing the piano music on the
Hey, you're pretty good.
Freya's tape.
All in the wrist. And 13 years of dedicated practice.
Yourself.
I'm just me. There's nothing to know.
How are you related to the other pointers?
My father is Percival Pointer. The professor spends most of his time hidden away in his tower. Barely speaks to anyone these days. Especially not the fellows.
Do you get on with the fellows?
2 of them. Fifi and Freya are my closest friends. We all turned 19 last year.
Do people ever leave Tangle Tower? I don't mean to be rude. It's just, if you're 19...
You don't have to answer that, Poppy.
It's a fair question. I'd like to move away. Definitely. Fifi, Freya, and I would often talk about it, argue about it. Freya wanted to leave, but Fifi... things are more complicated for her.
What about now?
After what happened, I really don't want to stay here much longer. 3.5
Yesterday.
hours of piano practice. Soon as I wake up. Same as always.
3.5. Does that not hurt your hands?
Sure.
And you do this in the music room?
No, I prefer to practice in my room. When I make mistakes, I like to make them in private.
What did you do after that?
I was supposed to meet Fifi in the library, but I totally forgot. When I finally got down there, she'd already gone. I checked her bedroom, but it was locked.
Was Fifi not in there?
No idea. She keeps her door locked either way. So I went back upstairs and out into the moonlight garden.
The what?
The little garden on the roof outside my room.
Was it just you up there?
No. Fitz came outside after a while. His room's on the other side. He's been teaching me about flowers.
So, did you talk to him?
Not really.
You ignored each other.
I didn't say that. Fitz and
Your
I were up
statement.
in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds. I've been trying to decide how to describe it, but I'm struggling. It was like something drilling into a piece of metal, but different. Worse. I was pretty sure it was coming from Floras Tower, so we went up there to check. Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. I knew Freya and Flora were both supposed to be in there, so I made Fitz kick down the door. I went inside. Freya was lying on the floor.
Flora was in the room too?
Yeah. I think she realized what had happened at the same moment I did. I didn't know what to do, so I ran downstairs to get Fifi. Her door was still locked, but I knocked and shouted at her. Eventually, she let me in. The lights were off, but I could see she'd already been crying. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry. First time I've ever seen her angry. I dragged her out into the hall. My father was there too, for some reason. The three of us went back up to Floras Tower. Then Felix arrived. He had Penny with him. Fifi had this idea. She wanted to do some kind of scientific test. She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes. After she was done, she went back upstairs and I went back to my room.
That's it?
That's it.
Everybody has like a lock.
All right.
It's probably
Poppy's
if I
bedroom
get
is
more
unlocked.
information.
I wonder what's in there.
I want to check out the music room first.
Oh, whatever it is, it's playing a little trumpet.
Well, it is the music room. He's got to practice.
What's with all the broken glass?
A shiny statue of a strange creature holding a large horn. There's no noticeable crack running along the length of the statue's horn. Inside the horn there is a ground below various shards of cracked glass. Okay.
Oh, whatever it is, it's...
Well, it is got to
What's
practice.
with all the broken glass?
Oh. No thanks.
Who plays the violin, I wonder?
It's pretty dusty, so I'm guessing nobody.
All right, you got
Spooky murder mansion?
Spooky Murder Mansion. Sheet music.
Music
It's
sheet.
handwritten.
That's a lot of notes. Looks pretty difficult.
Probably why they're on the floor.
Doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on in the music room. So her room is open. This room? No, this is Bobby's room.
Anything in the wardrobe?
Dresses mostly. I never realized there are so many shades of black.
Just a bunch of clothes on the floor. Nothing weird about that.
To you.
Empty. A lamp. It is most definitely turned off. Ah, yes, a giant symbol drawn in chalk on the floor. Always a good omen.
It's an eye. More handwritten sheet music.
That is the bit of a vampire.
I thought vampires slept in coffins.
This is a vampire who needs firm support for their lower back. Anything in the drawers?
Nothing you need to know about. It's a metronome for keeping time.
Look at it.
It's ticking. Is it a bomb?
It's supposed to be ticking. Not sure what those symbols are, though.
Are you supposed to...
I did it. What do I win?
Not bad.
Oh,
What happened?
A little hatch unlocked in the back.
Anything in there?
Mm-hmm. It's a photograph. Part of a photograph.
is it... It's the rest of the photo of them. Her photo shows a young girl with blonde hair and pink clothes. The girl in the photo is using bright cassette player and matching headphones. The rest of the photo shows Feet and Freya. It was hidden in... So is this Poppy before she changed?
There's something about that pink cassette tape. Something suspicious.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
Later.
Various handmade posters.
What do you think those symbols mean?
Hopefully, nothing. A big glass door leads out into a garden. Somehow.
There's a little mechanism by the handle.
Something happened.
That must be it.
Aha. They match up.
And the door's still locked.
I still feel like we made some sort of progress. Didn't we?
We gotta match
did.
up the other.
But the door...
I wanna look at it. Okay.
The
So,
moon tiles are.
But the sun symbols might be...
sun... Third straight
The moon tiles are
line.
in the
But the
right.
sun
and
symbols
then
might
double
be...
at the bottom. Okay. I wanna go to Fister.
It's
Here,
locked.
look at this.
I thought we were...
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
Yep. Look. Get rid of this. So.
It made a noise.
I guess that was right. Finally, it's open.
Whatever's on the other side better be worth it.
So only Fitz and Poppy can get into this.
Giant stone frog. Love it.
Ah, he's got his tongue out like he's catching snowflakes.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
Yeah. The feathers are mostly found resting on the tongue of the layer stone frog.
That's one big
Firefly.
dragonfly.
Or not,
Or
dragonfly.
one very small dragon. A little pond.
It looks really, really deep for some reason. See those metal bars around the edges too?
Oh yeah. What do you suppose they're for?
So you don't
Nothing
fall in?
anymore. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it.
It's a rose bush, growing on a little patch of bluish soil. Apart from a couple of loose petals on one side, the whole thing looks very well cared for.
The roses are bright red too.
Now, aren't roses normally that color?
Exactly.
It's another little statue, doing a really bad job of hiding in the bushes.
He's playing a lute this time.
He's also wearing headphones.
Well, they're not part of the statue. And they're not headphones. They're earmuffs.
A slightly weathered statue of a strange creature holding a lute. Herb earmuffs have been placed on the head of the statue. Yes, I see. So,
Oh, good.
Supposed to
I'm
be
glad
some
know
sort
there's
of-
a way to get across that tiny, tiny pond.
Not all bridges are about getting across stuff.
So, there's no
More egg
egg.
statues.
I don't get it. Why eggs?
Well, either they have some special significance, or the sculptor was just really lazy.
What do you mean?
An egg has got to be the easiest shape to make.
It's the door into Fitz's
One of
room.
only 2 ways to get into the garden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this bush is the only plant, I guess, that's not mutated. So, I have 2 more rooms I haven't been to, but I can ask Poppy about something.
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
You used to like this, somebody gave it to you as a gift, someone changed the color. of
You
it.
used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors. Let's take a closer look at this.
Found in the garden matches. Oh. Matches the blonde girl who used to be in this old photo. That was on the crime scene. Used to be Poppy in this old photo. Found in the crime scene matches the black girl used to be used by Poppy in this. That
The pink
Yeah.
cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the blonde girl used by Poppy in this old photo. Almost. Maybe just she. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the blonde girl used by Poppy in this old photo. Almost. Maybe just she.
Oh. Found. Specialist found the crime scene matches. Was placed by found in the garden. Old version. It's much larger than found in the crime scene matches. Oh.
The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it.
This?
You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your 2 best friends. Why'd you tear it up? And then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward.
Poppy doesn't want to look
Poppy
like that
doesn't
anymore.
want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
Maybe. It depends on the reason.
The reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
passage of time is a powerful thing.
Hold on. This means that paint cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
Okay. Wasn't particularly helpful at all. Let's see this big room, I guess. The aviary. This is Penelope?
Oh, just beautiful. What is it?
Huh?
Sort of a delicate jade, but with a little seafoam green, is that right?
Sorry?
Your hair, dear! Which shade do you use? It's lovely! And that shape, you're really pushing the envelope.
Oh, thanks. I do what I can to offset Grimoire's beige on brown ensemble.
Detectives don't need to be brightly colored. We prefer to blend into the background.
Oh, you're the detective? Delightful. Penny Pointer, pleasure.
Is that short for Penelope?
Oh, this is
Officially,
Penny.
yes, but I never can be bothered with all 4 syllables of it. Penelope sounds a little ostentatious coming out of the mouth, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah.
The music in the background of this.
20-something, Aquarius, love to travel, and nearly all of my friends are birds.
Travel? Where to?
Anywhere at all, as long as it has species worth studying. Ornithology, they call it. I call it the only thing I've ever been good at.
And have you studied the birds here at Tangle Tower?
But of course! Where else do you think I developed my love of the field? No matter where I go, I always find myself coming home to Tangle Tower.
Because of the birds.
Oh, no, because of him! Silly to admit, but I suppose I can't bear for us to be apart.
Who are you talking about?
Her husband.
Don't you know? My fiancé, dear Fitz. He's
Oh.
not really the traveling type, you see.
Fitz Fellow.
The very one.
You're engaged to a member of the Fellow family? That's interesting.
I'm not especially interested in whatever tedious feuding goes on between our two families. Fitz and I find it much easier to stay out of it altogether.
Oh. So she's engaged to Fitz, but Fitz is clearly in love with Poppy.
I awoke early and headed down into the greenhouse to see Fitz. He's always there. Crack of dawn, every morning like clockwork.
How come?
It's where he's happiest. That and he has a great deal of work to do every day. Watering, pruning, mulching, whatever that is.
Do you help him with the work in the greenhouse?
Oh, no. I wouldn't dream of it. I'd probably break something.
So, you stayed with Fitz the whole day?
No. In the early afternoon, he went back inside. Rather suddenly, as it happens.
Did he say why?
He didn't. Probably just a touch of heat stroke, the poor dear. He's more delicate than you'd think.
What did you do after that?
Let's see. I returned to the aviary to feed my birds.
And how many birds are you responsible for?
Officially 4, but in truth it's more like 400.
Can they not feed themselves?
Of course, and they often do. But I think they just like the company. As do I. Sometime in the evening, I left the aviary and headed back towards my room. But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. He was muttering
Yes, that's her
something.
ankle, not her
Seemed a bit
husband.
upset, the poor dear. I followed him down, but the grand hall was empty by the time I got there. Empty aside from Detective Hawkshaw, who was loitering over by the library. I don't know what it was, but she looked a little lost. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower. ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path. For some reason, he was coming out of Fitz's bedroom. He looked rather lost, too. I told him I was looking for Uncle. He suggested we look up in Flora's Tower room. We could see from the hallway. The door was off its hinges. I knew then something was terribly wrong. A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya. Uncle Pointer was there. Fitz, too, standing over in the corner with Fifi and Poppy.
What about Flora?
Of course, silent as ever. Uncle suggested we should leave. Give the others some space, you know. So he and I both returned to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Okay.
We can get into Penny's room now.
Now, like,
Sweet.
right now?
I'm gonna click on all these
And
birds first.
especially a fancy cage.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
3 brightly colored birds in heavy ornate cages. Why is that important?
They're bird
Good
cages,
words.
but the birds are coming and going freely.
Is that a metaphor?
Oh, it totally is.
Is there
I
a
don't
mirror?
like mirrors. They steal your soul.
How do you get your hair so symmetrical without using a mirror?
I do it by weight. I can feel if one side is heavier than the other.
My little writing desk. It's kind of cute.
There's nothing written in the book, although someone's torn a page out of the middle.
Okay. Nothing particularly interesting here. So this must be her room. Penny's room.
That's sunflower.
There's something weird about it. It just feels out of place.
Really colorful with an unusual shape. It looks very healthy and well looked after. The soil in the pot looks fresh and moist.
It's a birdhouse.
More birds.
Are those real birds? Nope. They're wooden.
They're using up all the perches. What if a real bird wanted to use it?
There.
Reset the puzzle? Reset the puzzle? I'll do this later.
I want to look at that bird cage. So yellow, purple, blue.
It's a
Probably.
birdhouse.
Are those real?
There is no purple, but there is a yellow and blue.
Nope.
There must be some logic to how the birds are arranged. Something to do with those white lines.
Oh. I see. If I white and green makes light green. Green and red.
Nothing.
I think the birds are related.
Yeah.
I guess
It's
that's
a family tree. The colors and eyes will need to start with blue and yellow at the top.
Okay, thank you. So blue and yellow together makes
No, that was it.
Nice work. Did the door open? What's in there?
Let's look. Now I'll get her. A ripped piece of paper crumbled into a ball. A red flower petals were found inside. A message is angrily scrawled on the paper. Now I'll get her. The flower petals are originated from the red roses growing on top. Ooh. That's why the red rose was significant.
Traveling cases.
Empty. All of them.
Can I
A
ask,
little tea set.
One of the
Penny
cups
about
And the other one.
birdseed. A little bedtime reading.
Let's see. Romance novels, detective novels, and
What?
this one appears to be both.
Nice.
Looks like nature invited itself in. Rude.
Can I ask Penny about the note? No.
That's rather
Oh, I can.
strange now, isn't it?
We found it in your room.
Just lying around, was it?
Nope. You'd hidden it, but we found it.
We do that.
Who's the her in the message? And what's the deal with the petals?
It's really none of your business. Goodness me. Poppy really doesn't take care of her belongings, does she?
It wasn't in Poppy's room. It was in the little pond in the garden.
Exactly! Hardly the place for it. Hello. Who penned this juicy little number?
We don't know. It's not signed.
An anonymous
Oh.
letter? Classic clue. I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling. Don't you think? It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting presence, bless her.
I didn't know I
Pretty
could
gaudy
ask them
old
about
thing,
stuff.
isn't it? Flora seems very fond of it. I've never understood why. But then I could say the same thing about her husband.
Heyo!
Poppy's gramophone.
Gramophone.
She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes, adorable.
And I guess I can ask her about everything.
It's probably quite impressive. To a visitor, fresh eyes and all that.
Not to you.
Try living in it for 20 years. The sheen wears off. If it wasn't for my fits, I'd have little reason to stay.
What about inheritance? You're the next oldest pointer after your uncle, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much for phrasing it like that. But no, any money left in the Pointer family will pass down directly to Poppy.
Is that fair?
I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest. How terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme. 3 different pinks. Obscene. Finally! I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Well, only last week I asked that miserable Hawkshaw woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being, what was it? A shallow sensationalist. Oh, that's rather sad. Freya doesn't take very good care of her pains, does she? But then she was always rather bohemian, had her own priorities. A bit vain to carve wooden figurines of oneself, isn't it? I know a lot of people rather like this painting, but it's a little much for me. I find it overbearing. And for some reason, it makes me feel bad for Freya. I think she was more troubled than we knew.
Freya's
Very
drawings.
nice.
You've seen these before?
Yes.
All of them. Even this one of...
Yes. Freya was very talented, even at that age.
Do you know how old this photo is?
Not sure. Must be a couple of years at least. Sometime before Fiona settled on her current style. Somebody taking an interest in extinct animals.
Extinct.
Oh, yes. The book is very old. Most of the birds in it are long gone.
Well, what about this bird, though? The ink dip.
This one. Well, it was thought to be extinct for a long time. Then one was found here at Tangle Tower.
So it's not extinct.
You misunderstand. It was the last one. The very last.
Oh.
diary.
That's our guess too.
Excellent. Ooh, delightful. More of a gemstone than a fruit, isn't it?
Inedible, too, I think.
Yes. At one point, I thought Fitz might be growing them to sell them. But honestly, I think he just likes the way they look. Oh, did Fitz show you that?
Not exactly.
We found it hidden under his bed.
Ah, right. Haven't seen this one in a while. He lives in the music room, doesn't he?
Currently.
I didn't
sure
ask about the
I've
harp.
read about this creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. I can't decide what's worse. How she looks here, or how she looks now.
Do you know who this is? In the photo?
Oh, absolutely no idea. Oh, there used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question. Lovely. I must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence of company.
They belong to you? Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce you to Tabitha, Tamara, and Tatiana.
I've already forgotten all three of those names.
Which one is which?
Oh, that's simple. Tatiana is the oldest, Tabitha is the most patient, and Tamara has the best sense of rhythm.
Glad we cleared that up.
What about the one on your head?
On my head? He's just my hat. He doesn't have a name. Who would name their hat? Yes, it's my... my flower.
You don't like it?
I'm no good at caring for plants. I forget to water them. Birds are much easier. They're a lot more vocal when they get thirsty.
Do you at least like the look of the flower?
The look?
The colors? The shape of it?
Between you and me, I think it's a little vulgar.
There's something about those petals we found in Penny's room.
Yeah.
Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
I already did, didn't I?
So, yeah, we found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses. And there's only one place in Tangle Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses. And who they belong to. It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at. But it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those two bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
How did Penny decide to access the rooftop room? One of Penny's bird was used to spy on Poppy and Fritz because... and steal from them, and distract them, and steal evidence from them, because they were planning murder. And
One
steal
of
from
Penny's
them?
birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal money from them. Almost. Maybe just...
Oh, money. Money?
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
We need a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden.
I do, I have the feathers.
Let's take a closer look at these.
This yellow was left behind.
This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the greenhouse. Almost. Maybe just change one.
When it
This yellow
visited.
feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it! Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days. But being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
So. But why did I do that? So I can ask them about things.
So there are two families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora is a Remington, originally. So was Primrose, my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
So the Fellows and the Pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask, that means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea. There's something
Case
I
file.
noticed about Freya's knife wound.
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
What do you make
Harp
of the
statue.
statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird. This is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy. Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone? Or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you.
Hmm.
When I first saw it, I thought it looked like Flora was holding a knife, with blood on the tip.
You don't think that anymore?
No, it was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I was in shock. I'm just an idiot.
But it was blood on the tip. If you hadn't said anything, maybe Fifi wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything. What was
An
inside?
empty egg.
Nothing.
Huh. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
Literally anybody. Freya would always load up
Russian
the
palette.
palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right. So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do. Why is the glass cracked down one side?
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way. Freya took good care of her stuff. Whose paints
Okay.
are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
I think everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes. Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that?
This is a photo of Fifi and Freya, right?
Yeah,
How come you're not in it? You're friends with them too, aren't you?
I'm not really one for photographs.
Fifi looks like she really admires Freya.
Fifi's loyalty to Freya is unshakable. That belongs to Flora, I think. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
Do you know why?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it. Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, he does that. Is that a
Ornate
gardening
trowel.
trowel?
Yeah, I think it belongs to Fitz.
Really? Huh, never seen him use it. Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano. I don't know what that is.
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me. I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
Why?
I found them lying around. I think they belong to Fitz. I put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones, like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does Penny not let them out to fly?
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't think they're allowed to go far. Penny can be a little protective. Never seen that one before. Was it in the greenhouse?
No, we found it in Penny's room.
Right. Those petals.
What about them?
It's nothing. They're just unusual.
Okay. Can I ask her about people?
Needless noise
Oh.
from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word, unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling, stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space.
That's what she had to say about Flora?
With surging tide, the waves are thrown, an entity of all its own. But on its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Foregone drifter, holding fast, days as shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom some 4 walls make round a room? Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be. Feathers flashing in the light, from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage. Between the lips a silver spoon, a story written all too soon. The chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart. Lost her liberation lays in the center of a maze. Softly does the flower grow, all in time, and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way.
What do you say about
That's
yourself?
me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always thought that would be kind of cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
Okay. So I want to go back and talk to Penny. As I asked her about all the things, but I didn't ask her about... I love the music in her room.
A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
A little bit.
A little bit friends.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it. She's a
Hawkshaw.
most unsavory little... She was incredibly rude about my appearance.
Which part? The giant bird arms, or...
If I were her, I'd go easy on the judgment of others. I mean, look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, It was Uncle that called her in. She's his responsibility. Did you not know that? I must say, I really
Yeah,
don't
the
care for
professor's
den
the only
of
one I haven't met.
self-delusion that he's retreated into. People are better off when they just let themselves be themselves. Between you and me, I think Felix is secretly rather miserable. She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabelle, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve.
Got it, thanks.
For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath. I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
Sounds like you two were close.
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her, but she had a way of understanding unspoken things. Oh, she's beautiful! Who is she? Wait, is that me? She mostly ignores me, if I'm honest.
How come?
Well, we're not quite on the same intellectual level.
Oh, you don't need to.
No, it's quite all right. I'm comfortable with it. Isn't he strapping?
He is big.
And so brooding.
Kinda sulky, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
It just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input. Oh, did you talk to Poppy already?
Yeah, a little bit.
And did you make any notes of what she told you?
Yeah, I did.
Lovely. Burn them. It'll all be lies.
Why would Poppy lie to us?
Because that's what she does. She's a snake. Looks like one, too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
Okay. So, I will finish this room. This is the professor. He's the one about
Listen.
space.
Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality, as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Me?
Yourself.
Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return. Nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the Cosmos I say hi.
The day began
Yesterday.
as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the Fellow Tower later that evening. I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever, then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Floras Tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is Fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that. A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end. Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you. I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends. Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth. My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did.
Penny.
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time, until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship. Ah, yes, the heiress of Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be the type to impress her will on others.
Still, keep an eye on her. Dangerously intelligent, that one.
You sound jealous. Wait, are you two science rivals?
Oh no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally.
Fitz.
What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the Fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived. My Poppy, my pride and joy. Exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
Because she's a suspect.
Oh, no. I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away. She went away.
I guess I'll ask you about all these things.
So which one is Tangle Tower?
What's that?
There are two towers, right? Floras Tower and your astronomy tower.
Neither? Truly, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result of her squabbling with her family.
With Felix, you mean? Her husband?
No, her brother and sister, and her father. The Remington family was a rather tumultuous little unit, you see. I don't think Flora has spoken with any of them in over a decade.
Alright, case file.
Not exactly a wealth of information, is it?
It's enough.
Harp statue.
A very old statue indeed. I'd recommend you leave it well alone. The poor fellow's in bad enough shape as it is. Isn't the process of decay fascinating?
It's not really decaying. It's plastic.
It's becoming one with nature, all the same. Where on earth did you find that?
It was in a bush outside. I think someone threw it away.
How peculiar. I find that painting to be in rather bad taste.
Oh, yeah?
The knife with real blood on it? The whole thing is rather vulgar. Curious little thing, isn't it? Do you know what she keeps in there?
Nothing. At the moment. It was empty when we opened it.
How bizarre.
Can't a woman keep an empty egg in her room?
Pointer property originally, purloined by the Fellows. Typical. I haven't seen that tape for a long time. Who broke it?
No idea.
Ah, well, possessions are fleeting, my friends. Here's a thought. Do you suppose the paintbrush could be the murder weapon? After all, it was found at the scene, right next to Freya's body.
I guess it's possible.
Is this important?
Possibly.
This is supposed to be Felix, is it?
I think so.
I see he's afforded himself considerable artistic license. Freya was well acquainted with the abstract, I'll say that much.
What does it look like to you?
To me, it's a big, red thing.
What a fascinating interpretation.
He's right, though. It is a big red thing.
Sure it is.
These were drawn by Freya. She must have drawn that one of Hawkshaw rather recently.
I guess.
Poppy's two closest friends. Freya looks so innocent there. That's a very old book, isn't it? Looks like someone could have taken better care of it.
I like the look of a well-read book. Better than one that's never been opened.
Ah, well put. A diary can be a wonderful outlet for an outpouring of one's soul.
How do you know it's a diary?
I suppose I don't, but it does look like a diary. Fitz seems rather keen to grow things like this in his greenhouse, doesn't he?
What's wrong with that?
Well, you can't eat it. Makes you wonder why he bothers at all. Oh, you found a murder weapon?
Steady on. It's just a gardening trowel.
Looks like a weapon to me. Curious creature, isn't it? Some sort of amphibious bipedal fishman.
Playing a trumpet.
Playing a trumpet, yes. What a precious photograph. She hasn't changed a bit, has she?
Who?
Oh, if you don't know, perhaps I don't either. I think you may wish to adjust your threshold of what you consider to be a clue. I've seen those earmuffs before. They're the ones Fitz always wears when he's out the front gardening.
Always wears?
Whenever I've seen him, yes. That's rather a small cage for 3 birds, isn't it? But then, aren't we all trapped in a cage? What kind of flower is that?
We're not sure. I think it might be the only one of its kind.
Primrose would know. My wife was a floriculturalist. Best in the field. That's a flower joke, but she was.
Interesting.
Well now, that is most definitely none of my business. Quite possibly none of yours either.
Oh, wait, I think I've asked him everything. I didn't unlock his secret question. Okay. I guess I should talk to Fitz. Hey, Fitz. I'd like to ask you about everyone.
I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Felix.
Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
What was she doing with all those books?
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relationship doing recently?
Good. It's good. Fifi doesn't like me.
What did you do?
I'm not sure. If you find out, maybe you can let me know.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, it was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see. Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong? Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation.
Case file.
Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know?
It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. How odd.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor.
An empty egg.
It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it, but it was empty.
Fun story.
Yeah, thanks for telling me.
That belongs to Poppy.
So, why is it up in Floras Tower?
I'm not sure. There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form. Felix made that? Huh. Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although, the photo doesn't carry the same energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting.
Fitz, one of these drawings is of you, in the rooftop garden, I think, with Poppy.
Mm-hmm. Are we done? It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried, in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks. Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it.
This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gem-stony.
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny and edible fruit?
You look at it.
This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah.
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she asked.
What's with the broken glass?
Any idea who this is?
No idea.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
Why not?
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone. Wait, those are mine, the earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they, like, her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to. Those petals, they,
What?
they're red.
Okay. Let's talk to you. Oh yeah, she had this.
Is that a clock?
If it is.
I'm not sure what the answer to this is. Give me a hint.
No.
So, moving any of the hands turns the adjacent hands in the opposite direction. It's like cogs in a machine.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Did you
wrong.
work out what direction each hand needs to be facing? Each one ends with a little hoop. Try looking through the hoop and ignoring the rest.
9. 9? Is it?
No, that was it.
Nice work. What's in the box?
A little tool thing? Looks like a telescope, but I'm not actually sure what it
Okay,
is.
that took me a while to figure out. A small brass tool with a curved glass lens that is screwed on the base. Hello. I'd like to ask you.
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client. These people really are ridiculous, aren't they? And you consider that important evidence, do you? 3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. One of 3 statues depicting the same creature. This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music. Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Oh, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves?
Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone we've met so far.
Strange. Some breed of amphibious humanoid. Potentially bipedal. Although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. The people here are surprisingly materialistic, considering how sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
Growing this fruit simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're speculating.
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stone straight from the earth? A diary. Have you read it?
Not yet. It's locked.
And you haven't attempted to force it open?
That would be cheating.
A book from the library. One of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. A photograph of Freya. Could be important.
When did Freya draw the picture of you, Hawkshaw?
I didn't model for her, if that's what you're asking. She must have done it without my permission.
Could just be from memory. It's not quite as detailed as the others anyway.
I admit, it's powerful. Freya was a talented young woman.
Someone even liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference. I'd tell him not to quit his day job. But he hasn't got one, has he? paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told? I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last. A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too?
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No.
No. Where'd you dig that up?
It wasn't buried. It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps? Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no, then. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too.
Ask about the people.
Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Freya Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky. 314 cases solved. 314. Professor Pointer's a respectable astronomer. Keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone.
Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious. Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, detective. I find her rather embarrassing, little more than a spoilt child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse. Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition, no focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely. I'll say this, he's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse, but I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers in secret.
Whoa, scandal.
I just wonder if he's getting restless. Poppy has remarkable musical talent. She could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
She'd probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite.
There's a metal plaque on
Is
the
there a
back.
message?
I think there was that someone scratched it off.
It's just an archway, but it seems a little ominous. Like walking through it might give you bad luck.
Too late.
What now?
Instead of talking to me, why don't you go talk to the suspects?
Well, maybe you are one of the suspects. I'm just saying, I reckon you'd be capable of murder, given the right motivation.
Wow, thanks. That means a lot. It's a garden, I think. It's currently far away.
We could walk closer to it.
Ready when you are.
I'm still not sure about...
Should we take another look?
Let's come back
Still
later.
don't have the answer for that. I guess. Talk to everyone on that side.
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 44. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been... non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond. Name, Hawkshaw. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard. Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh, yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me. Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct. Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2, increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. One scientist, one artist, and one musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Penelope Pointer. Age, 27. Profession, ornithologist. Likes, birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes, Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her. Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent. Name, Fitz Fellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife. Name, Poppy Pointer. Age, 19. Profession, Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come. What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her. I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell—
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene.
Apart from the one in the painting.
Which, as a mere abstract representation, does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are?
This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right, but why?
I do not know why. Curious. Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course. That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs. The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days.
Is she laughing?
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring. A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint. I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
Has more meaning than some other people said.
There is a drawing of me, a drawing of Detective Hawkshaw, and a drawing of Poppy and Fitz. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time. A book. My book.
And what's in it?
Pages. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless, unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends.
On what?
On the structural integrity of your teeth. That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is. Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be?
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea. What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
These weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands.
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues. I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh.
It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next! This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh yes, it has a telescopic lens. It could only be used for looking at things that are far away.
Oh, and she said it was offset.
There's something about that diary we found in Fifi's room. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
Okay.
There's something about the report of Fitz going up Pointer Tower. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
Okay. Ask her about the book.
Is this your diary, Fifi? We found it in your bedroom.
Of course it is mine. Ridiculous question.
Why is it locked up like that?
You seriously require an explanation. Very well. A fairly common concept, the so-called secret diary is favored in particular by girls between the ages of 10
So, there are secrets written in here?
and... This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
It's Fifi's diary, and she has written in it.
I'm not sure about that.
Me neither.
This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
It's not a diary at all.
I'm not sure about that.
Me neither.
This particular diary...
It doesn't look unused.
It's somebody else's diary.
How could you arrive at that conclusion? It is kept in my bedroom. It is mine.
We need a clue to compare with the diary. Something to prove.
Something to prove that this isn't her diary? This?
That's not it. That's not it.
This?
That's not it.
This?
That's not it.
This?
That's not it. 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 That kinda makes sense, but no.
Let's take a closer look at this.
Oh, Freya's holding it. Uh-huh.
This blue book is the same thing as the secret diary, which proves it belonged to Freya.
You were hiding Freya's
Oops.
diary in your room, and you kept it locked, too.
Why would I do either of these things?
You didn't want drawings, didn't want anyone to see. It was always suspicious, destroyed, thought it wasn't there, didn't want anyone to see.
Drawings didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary. Almost. Maybe just change one. A secret letter didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary. Almost. Maybe just change. Freya didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary. Almost. Maybe just change. Fifi didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary.
Is this true, Fifi?
I know Freya was your friend, but if you're trying to hide something...
You did not know Freya, so this might be difficult to understand. She did her own thing, in her own way. By concealing Freya's written accounts, it is simply my intention to preserve her innocence.
Innocence?
Might be easier if you just let us read the diary, Fifi.
Very well. I will open it. However, as you read it, please remember, Freya was the most kind and the most wise person I have ever known.
Alright, Fifi unlocked.
Finally. What's in there?
Okay. It's back, in the flesh this time. Was it me? Did I let it out? Maybe I should rip up that painting. Soulbearer works. The most impressive little things I have two now. I need two more. Found my way into the middle. Surprisingly simple compared to the harp. I saw all 5 eyes blacked out. Despite everything, I still have a promise to keep. I'll do my best. She could do with little company.
A book.
So I got thing to ask Fitz, I guess.
So, Fitz, I have a report that you were seen sneaking up Pointer Tower, holding a knife.
That's not right. I don't go into Pointer Tower. I don't own a knife. And I don't sneak. Was it Fifi who told you this?
How did you know that?
A guess. She doesn't like me very much. But yeah, she was mistaken. Maybe she wasn't wearing her eye lens thing.
What do you think, Grimoire?
Fifi did see Fitz, but he was holding something else.
So, if it
It was
wasn't
the
a
trowel.
knife, what was it?
What about this?
Ah, that.
Is it yours?
It was a gift. It's sentimental. I have no reason to take it up Pointer Tower. I don't use it at all.
It was used by Fitz to look at, was used to cut. It's part of a matching set. It's the only thing that can destroy. Was used to bury in Puppy's room, in the garden, in the greenhouse, in Penny's room.
An ornate trowel was used to bury a potted flower in Penny's room. Almost. Maybe just...
Was used by Fitz to look after.
An ornate trowel is used by Fitz to look after a potted flower in Penny's room.
That flower.
Yes.
I've never seen it before.
We need a clue to compare to that flower. Something that proves it's
It
Let's take a closer look at these.
the blue soil. In Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in Fitz's greenhouse.
The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in Fitz's greenhouse. Let me guess. Penny's flower was originally a gift from you, Fitz. There's no way it's a coincidence.
no way what's a coincidence.
The flower. It looks exactly like Penny.
It took me a long time to breed. I wanted the colors to be exactly right.
That's some gift.
Turns out Penny isn't particularly interested in looking after plants. So I go into her room every now and again, when she's not there. Water the flower, change the soil. Just trying to keep it alive.
Okay.
A little chart of... Actually, I have no idea what it's about.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
So gotta talk to this guy. Percival. Hello. You have this.
What's this?
It looks like it might be a telescope. Thought you might know something about it.
Well, it certainly is a telescope. It has a part there to screw onto a tripod, you see. It's rather small, though. I'm not sure you could see many stars with it.
No, probably not.
Okay. That didn't help me at all. Guess I will talk to Felix. I would like to ask you.
Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman. Oh, yes. Been married over 20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of 3. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know. Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant to, because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine. Supposedly Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item. Something called the Golden Beetle. Honestly, it's probably a bunch of sensationalist rubbish.
You reckon?
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it. Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know, maybe. We still need...
That is not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness, does old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival. You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look.
Yeah.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower. Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger, always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage. It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile. My daughter Fiona, Our little burgeoning genius. You've met her?
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her. Fitz? I don't trust him. He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Did you two have an argument?
No, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Poppy's a good friend to my daughter. Always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different like how?
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona, not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional intelligence.
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, yes, less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it? What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. I'm as confused as you are. It would have been a beautiful painting. It's rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at.
Yeah, she would be not even holding a knife.
Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do. But that looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall. Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it, as you can see.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course. I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that. That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Freya was quite the talent. She had a way of capturing the spirits of her subjects. Not in an evil way, in a good way. My daughter Fiona and her best friend, they grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea. Where did you find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd. Why would someone lock up a book like that?
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! Teenagers are funny, aren't they? That looks like it might belong to Fitz.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that before. Looks valuable. Now this is still in very good condition. Apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning. Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue. Is that a clue? Really?
It might be. The statue was up in the rooftop garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable. Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave if they really wanted to. That looks like it might belong to Fitz. Goodness me! Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise.
Okay, I've asked him all the things. Let's go back up here.
Supposedly, Freya was working on the painting when she was killed. Looks like she was still holding her paintbrush and palette when she fell.
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
Poppy says that Freya could mix all the colors she would with her painting, the medicines, and the weakness of blood, not paint. Floras Fellow. Her father was Lord Remington, her brother is Richard Remington, her sister is Primrose. She's married to Felix, her daughter is Fifi. Freya is Laura, or her brother's daughter? I don't know. This is a map. Is there anything suspicious about Flora? Oh. The pink cassette set was piano music recorded. Does it belong to Poppy? Why is it found in the crime? Poppy admits the pink cassette was tape belonged to her. She recorded piano music on and gave it to Freya. The crack in the tape must have happened quite recently. Freya linked to music. So I should...
Flora, you were definitely in the room at the time of the murder. Surely you must have seen something? Can you tell me anything about what happened to Freya?
No.
She's acting pretty suspicious.
I don't know. Maybe she really doesn't know anything.
How is that possible? Anything we should know? Any hobbies? Besides staring out the window?
We spoke to Hawkshaw. I assume she didn't get anything out of you either. I bet that really ticked her off.
You know the guy in the other tower? Weird astronomy professor guy?
Can you see him from your window? Can he see you?
We met Felix, your husband. He's one of our suspects, and he seems pretty suspicious if you ask me. So, if you want to stick up for him, now's your chance.
Nice try.
Were you close with Freya? How are you two related? Did you kill Freya?
Grimoire!
What? I don't even think she's listening.
Oh, she's listening.
What do you know about Penny?
I can't really imagine those two being friends, to be honest.
You never know.
We spoke to your daughter, Fifi. She's some kind of super intelligent scientist. You must be proud of her.
Do you and Fitz have anything to do with each other? Other than your initials? Do you and Poppy get along?
Nothing. Shocker. Grimoire, what could you possibly be writing down?
Oh no, I gave up making notes ages ago. Now I'm just doodling in the margins. Did you ask Freya to paint this? Or was it her idea?
What is that you're holding in the painting, Flora? Some people have been saying it's a knife.
Flora, this is your egg? Why do you keep it locked?
Is there supposed to be something in there? Or is it always empty? Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked?
Really getting a lot of information out of her.
What do you think of your husband's hobby?
Do you have any hobbies? This is a photo of Fifi, isn't it? Your daughter? Have you seen this book before? Do you know who it belongs to?
I really thought she was gonna say something there. Do you recognize any of these feathers?
Do you know anything about these birds? Or birds in general?
Oh.
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
So,
It's so dark back.
Somehow the sunlight doesn't seem to be making it very far into the room. There it is, the unfinished portrait of...
So, what,
Looks that way.
There's 2 potted plants. But there's only 1 in the room.
Half the room is a big open window.
I don't know if you can call it an open window. It's more like the sudden absence of wall. A bunch of old books, covered in dust now, but they look well read.
That's the only door in and out of the
It's
room.
also on the floor.
Sure is. Guessing it's not supposed to be down there.
It's so dark back.
Somehow the sunlight...
Suspect statements.
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the Moonlight Garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Floras Tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs.
I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do, so I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the Fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me.
I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other. That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't...
That's a big lake.
It's kind of...
I think it's just...
Yeah, water with poison in it.
They all line up. We should search the astronomy tower. Okay. I will. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll start clicking things in here.
A picture frame.
With no picture.
It's tidier than my desk. The notebook is untouched. It's completely blank.
So, even the most well-used notebooks start off blank.
It's full of tea, but it's gone.
Criminal.
It's a chart of the solar system. Which planet are you from, Sally? It's too cloudy to see any stars right now.
It's also daytime.
It's too cloudy to see.
It's also daytime. You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system? What would you do with it?
I would look at it.
It's a puzzle.
Wait a minute. Earth in the middle, sun on the outside. How old is this thing? Nothing.
So there are two ways to move the shadows. Rotate the
Yes.
planets, and rotate the sun and moon.
But what exactly am I meant to be doing with said shadows? I figured it out.
No, that was it.
Nice work. Did you hear that? Something unlocked.
There's a little hatch underneath. What's in there?
A bunch of paper. Looks like
Ooh,
somebody's research.
gold beetle. Various research notes and diagrams. The golden beam, named for its exoskeleton, codes a mineral approximately 90% identical to gold. It has a lifespan of several years. It fends off predators with a loud hiss, record over 95 decibels, and being completely undigestible. This misted has somewhat spurious rotation for causing ill fortune to those who see it.
There's something about Hawkshaw's handheld microscope. Something
I'm gonna ask him
suspicious.
about the
Let's
beetle.
ask her about it.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
Yeah.
Trinkets.
They're clearly gizmos.
This little microscope thing? You said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense, if you knew what my client had asked me to find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry, we already worked out what you're searching for.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He is not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse.
It's not a microscope at all.
It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective
I'm
Grimoire
not, but
is some kind of
Fifi is.
expert on microscopes.
Hindescope was this part of microscope. According the hands got according to feet use a telescope.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens. So Hawkshaw stole it. Almost.
There we go.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens. So Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Hawkshaw, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Really?
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me. And so, I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento from my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired me, I dared to consider it something of a planetary alignment. I had hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
Hold on. You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect is your murder victim.
This one's Freya's room. Yeah.
It's a little glass box.
I think it's a
Come again?
See the leaves? Might have been for keeping insects.
Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight? Do you think this was always supposed to be a bedroom?
I don't know. It is kind of a weird shape.
No windows either. Did Freya paint those animals on
They're
her skin?
kind of simplistic.
Maybe she painted them when she was younger. Do you think this was always...
I don't know.
No windows either. Do you think this was
I don't know.
No windows either. Not the kind of lamp I choose for my bedroom, but fair enough.
It's cool. Looks like old mining equipment or something. That painting.
Why?
Maybe Freya enjoyed
The
the
atmosphere.
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the.
It's a photograph.
There's still something in the astronomer tower?
There's some. I just expected a bit
Oh,
more.
does it not compare to all the... Oh,
There's something. I just
oh
expected.
does it not compare to all the...
There's something kinda. I just expected a bit
Oh,
more.
does it not compare to all the... Oh.
Pretty. Pretty. Pretty.
A bell jar.
What do people normally keep in bell
Other
jars?
than bells, you mean? A
They're in
spotlight?
very good condition. What is it?
Ah, it's a large device.
You're not wrong. We already solved it.
Trinkets.
They're clearly gizmos.
Miss Tiny, the notebook is untouched.
So, even the most well-used notebooks.
Miss Tiny,
So, even the most well-used notebook.
Miss Tiny.
So, even the most well-used notebook. There's something I just
Oh,
expect.
does it not compare to all?
Oh.
Every astronomy
I want to try.
Sure.
You can see right into Flora's room.
Not by accident.
I can see Flora, but she's not looking this way. She's looking up. Behind her is the backside of the easel holding Freya's unfinished painting. I can't really see anything behind it. Not from this angle.
It's that little plant Flora keeps on the window ledge.
Don't you think it would fall off? In the wind.
Maybe it's glued down.
I can see the doorway. It leads into the hall. The door itself is on the floor, knocked off its hinges. I can just about see the gramophone. It's the tower opposite this one.
Is that a window?
I think it is.
Is there another room above Flora's room?
Ooh.
We should check that next time we're over there. Isn't this supposed to be an astronomy telescope? I'm pretty sure you need to see the sky for astronomy to work.
I can't move it. I think this is just how it's set up.
There's something about Pointer's astronomy habits. Something suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
Why is it pointed at Flora?
So, Professor, what interests you about astronomy exactly?
It's not a matter of being interested. Once you expand your mind to the wider universe, it cannot be unexpanded.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been an astronomer?
I really don't like to give exact values unless I'm sure I can quantify them.
Convenient.
Why do you ask me these things?
I have a theory about you, Professor.
Oh, go on.
You're trying to get a planet named after yourself. You're not really interested in astronomy. You just gotta be heading straight for Earth.
You're not really interested in astronomy at all.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I think you're interested in a slightly different field of research.
Flora?
That's not it.
I don't have time for tiny, insignificant insects. My studies focus only on the inconceivably large and the unimaginably far away.
Right. That's why you like using your telescope so much.
Yes, naturally. My little portal into another world.
Yeah, about that.
Use his telescope for astronomy. I understand was actually looking at the crime scene. and not up the sky.
Pointer's telescope was actually looking at the crime scene and not up at the sky.
First, you accuse me of being a lowly entomologist. Now you're accusing me of, what, spying?
Are you spying?
Why would I need to spy on Flora?
Why? Because you lost your golden beetle specimen, and it's made you paranoid. You think somebody stole it from you.
Might not have been Flora you were spying on. Might have been Freya.
It's a very precious specimen. Incredibly rare. Valuable in ways you could never understand. Freya was always sneaking around. Both towers and in the gardens too. She was definitely up to something.
So, this next question is important. You were looking to Flora's room around the time of the murder. Did you witness the crime, Professor?
No, I didn't. When I looked into the room, Flora was already lying on the floor.
Flora? You mean Freya?
No, Flora. She was lying by the window. I couldn't see Freya at all. It was fairly dark. The telescope isn't at a very good angle. That's why I decided to head over there myself. I needed to know what was going on.
This changes your statement, doesn't it?
No, everything I told you in my statement was true.
Apart from the reason you left your tower in the first place.
Right.
Freya was definitely up to something.
Something to do with the statue in the garden, I think.
What's the
Maybe we
connection
should go
to the
back and
garden
check.
statue?
And we could have missed.
Oh,
This wasn't here
Yeah.
before.
What is it?
It's a little wooden toy. Looks kind of like a crab.
There's a note stuck to the back.
What does it say? Grimoire?
this is my new friend. He likes music. Simple melodies will move his soul. Best of luck to you, Freya. Wooden toys will come. A large layer of dark liquid lays beneath the sheet of glass.
What do you think? Is it really from her?
How can it be?
Why don't we check the handwriting with Freya's diary?
Good idea. Hold on.
Well,
It's a perfect match.
well, it's confirmed. We have a ghost helping us.
Let's keep this to ourselves for now.
What about the little wooden toy thingy?
Maybe we can put it to some kind of use.
Unvision business. So I'm gonna leave it here. We'll do possibly the next chapter in a different video. Thanks everyone for watching.
Not by the woman from the painting, but by the painting itself.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
Freya Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator.
Fellow, the gardener.
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
Lady Pointer, pleasure.
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
It's a fair question.
Oh, she's beautiful. Who is she?
So loud.
Freya was very talented, even at that age.
It's hers. It's free. Was then, is now, will ever be.
She was always kind to me.
She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
You can see right into Flora's room.
Not by accident. Well, it's confirmed. We have a ghost helping us.